Youngsters of Pretoria and Cape Town, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly 2 years ago, on the 23rd of September 2011, an important discovery was made at the Wienerberger brick factory, just a mile behind us. The remains of 3 South African soldiers were exhumed from the clay grounds. Amongst the equipment that was found were parts of shoes, a gas mask, ammunition pouches, remnants of a leather money purse, and even a razor blade safe of the label Gillette, with the blades still in it. The most important thing was the presence of a cab badge, the Laurel Springbok, with the text "Union is strength, Eendracht maakt macht." There was no doubt. These were South Africans of the 1st South African Infantry Brigade. The colour badge that was found turned out to be the one of the 4th Regiment South African Scottish. Unfortunately, despite the efforts of specialists of Flanders Heritage Agency, very poor preservation of the remains excluded individual identification. So on July the 9th, the 3 unknown South African soldiers of the 1st Infantry Brigade, 4th Regiment, were reburied with full military honour. What we do know, however, is when they died and why they were found on the site of the brickyard behind us. Soon after the outbreak of the war in October 14, the South African government decided to raise an infantry brigade of 4 battalions, drawn from 4 various provinces of South Africa for service overseas. One of them was the 4th Battalion of the South African Scottish. After a training in the UK, the 1st South African Infantry Brigade was engaged in the Battle of the Somme in July 1916. The brigade suffered terrible losses after fighting of the most severe kind in Delville Wood. Only 768 men of the 3,153 who entered the wood answered the roll call. In the summer of 1917, the 1st South African Brigade prepared itself for its role in the big Flanders offensive known as 3rd Wipers, or the Battle of Passchendaele. On the 20th of September 1917, the second stage of that Flanders campaign began with an 8-mile front attack involving approximately 65,000 troops. At 5:40 in the morning, the South African Infantry Brigade, attached to the 9th Scottish Division, assembled in their front positions near Vreesenberg, just 2 kilometers from here, and advanced in the direction of Zonnebeek, behind a smoke curtain and a creeping barrage. The churned-up landscape was littered with wrecked tanks, shattered trees, and treacherous water-filled shell holes. Belts of barbed wire protected the massive defensive fields of concrete blockhouses, pillboxes like the one here behind us, from which hails of machine gun fire swept the low ground. The first objective, the so-called Red Line, had to be taken in the first wave of the attack, carried out by the 4th Regiment on the left and the 3rd on the right. It is during this initial attack that the 3 soldiers here were presumably killed. They were probably never formally buried and their graves covered by artillery fire. Their comrades of the 1st and the 2nd Regiment continued the battle and captured the end objectives at a very high cost. Of the 2,567 men that started the attack, 1,255 were listed as killed, wounded or missing. The South Africans were involved in the Flanders offensive till end October, and in April 1918 they were back in Flanders and led a counterattack on the Messines White Sheet Road 8 kilometers from here against an overpowering German force. By the armistice, over 1,046,000 men had served in the South African units during the war, fighting on 3 principal fronts. Total South African casualties during the war reached 18,600, with more than 6,600 losing their lives. It is our duty to remember them. I now give the floor to Colonel Rainer Fonse, Military Attaché of the South African Embassy.